morning. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to start with Vanderbilt head coach Tim Corbin. Again, when you first ask your question, please identify yourself and your affiliation. We are going to start with a short statement from the head coach as we get ready with today's CWS Championship Series press conference. Coach, whenever you're ready.
Yep, I'm going to start with North Carolina State first, and we certainly sympathize with Elliot, Chris, Clint, Joey, their staff, their team, their fan base too, understanding that we don't know the level of hurt that they're exposed to right now, but we certainly recognize it. None of us wish to be in this particular position. We're one of the 6 teams that were matched up with them. We certainly would want to play them on the field or have played them on the field, but we didn't. So we're in a situation where we move forward. We've lost one time. We've handled our business appropriately. We've tried to stay in our lane as best we possibly can. We're grateful to be in the championship series against a team that we're familiar with and played during the course of the year. So we'll move forward.
Okay, we're going to move to questions. And again, please use the raise your hand function if you'd like to ask a question today. Our first question is going to be from Eric Olson.
Okay, I'm unmuted. Hey, Tim, being at a private university, are you able to require your guys to be vaccinated?
We're very comfortable with the situation that we've gone through during the course of the year. I've spent a lot of time educating the group on what this process could potentially look like at the beginning of the year. We're certainly comfortable with where we are and what we've done.
Our next question comes from Joe Rexrod.
Yeah, sorry. Tim, real quick, going back to Friday, when you found out about NC State's situation, what were the discussions between you and NCAA officials? What were you told, and did you have any input at all?
Not much. They were handling a situation with North Carolina State. We were told the game was going to be delayed. Kumar was already in the bullpen. He was getting ready to pitch. We couldn't give him much information outside of the fact that this was going to be delayed. We did not have a hard start time, so we had no idea when that would be. We knew there was a health issue, but we didn't know what it was, nor, I guess, should we. We just knew that the game was going to be delayed. But our players didn't know much, so we kept them back and in the locker room and just waited until we got some type of word. And then I would say 45 minutes to an hour, it was probably about 45 minutes, we were told that the game would start in 45 minutes. So we let our pitcher know and let the team know, and they regrouped and took the field.
Next question comes from Steve Lehman.
Hi, Tim. We've talked before about how emotional this time of year is and the ups and downs and the adversity you go through. Is there any way to describe or compare what Friday afternoon to Friday night, early Saturday morning? I mean, were you guys even awake when the decision was made late Friday night into Saturday morning, and now trying to recenter from that craziness for the biggest series of the year?
Well, no one was awake. I woke up at about 1:30 and found a message from Candace and regarding the NCAA's decision. And at that point right there, I rolled over and woke my wife up, and we stayed up the rest of the night and just talked because we wanted to process it. Just because I felt like when the boys woke up, I wanted to give them some type of information. And that's really all I cared about was them. As far as getting up and seeing that type of message with the understanding that they were going to play and then not playing, I just wanted to get to them as quickly as possible, so we did. And I'm sure it was a little bit confusing, but we used yesterday as a day to talk through it, and I told them that once we get to the ballpark today that we move forward, just like life. There's nothing you can do about it. Life circumstances happen, you deal with them, move forward.
Our next question is from Aria Gerson.
Tim, what have you seen out of Luke Murphy throughout this whole College World Series in terms of just, coming in and shutting down so many times out of the bullpen?
The ability to contain his emotions. I think when you're put in that position, very rarely do you come into a situation that is clean. Often you come into a situation that is very tight and the temperature of the game is hot. He's done a very good job of getting into those environments and throwing strikes, and very committed strikes at that. He's not trying to feel his way around. You get to this level and you get to this part of the year and you can go through any bullpen, whether it's Mississippi State or Vanderbilt or Texas for that matter, since I just got done watching that game last night and watching Quintanilla throw. You get kids that are marksmen. They come in, they know what they're going to do, they know how to land their pitches, and they do it with commitment, and that's what Luke does.
And what is it like seeing him succeed, knowing, he's been through injury and COVID cancellations, and especially being, from Tennessee?
I love when any of our kids succeed. Doesn't matter who it is. So I'm happy for Luke, but I love when every single one of our kids succeed.
Our next question will go to Kayla Anderson.
Good morning, Coach. Just on the note of your players and these guys processing everything, and you said, it's time to move on, taking that next step. How have they processed it? It's been a little bit of a unconventional College World Series with things that they've gone through. So how are they doing as a group?
They're doing fine. I mean, it's all your perspective on things. I mean, the world didn't end. We're playing baseball. I mean, that's for us. We get to move forward. I understand the other side. I do. We're very empathetic and very sympathetic to that. But we have no control over that, regardless of what anyone insinuates or what anyone says. We're just playing baseball. That's all we can do. We can stay in our lane. But the kids are fine. I mean, they're 18, 19, 20-year-old kids that are spending the last days with one another, and they're enjoying their ability to be here. I mean, this isn't easy to do. This isn't easy to get out here and play in this environment and play well. And you can see the two teams that are matched up against one another. I mean, they've played good baseball, but both teams are hitting about 215, and that's because the pitching's so good out here. And you got great hitters on either side. We're fine. They just want to play again.
Yeah, our next question is from Robbie Weinstein.
Hey, Tim, how confident are you that Kumar can come back, if there is a game 3 on short rest and, be fully effective? And how does his work in the off season and, preseason training and stuff set him up to be able to do that in a big situation like this?
Confident.
Okay, we'll next go to Drake Keeler.
Hi. So Mississippi State has changed their route in entering their hotel to kind of minimize interactions with fans and such. Are you guys making any adjustments to your personal COVID protocols to keep your players safe heading into the championship?
We're in the DoubleTree. We're fine.
Our next question goes to Clinton Yates.
Hey, Coach. Question about one of your players, Javi Vaz. The guy's moved up. He's moved up in the lineup. He's performed tremendously well. Can you tell me a little bit about just how he's turned it on, not just this postseason, but specifically in the College World Series as well?
He's a good little player. He's earned the right to be out there. He's stayed very focused and diligent towards what he's doing. I think the unique part about kids like that come on at the end of the season is they never lose their spirit and personality during it. And I think oftentimes when you're a kid that doesn't see his name on the lineup card for March and April, your spirit can dampen. That's never been the case with this kid. He's very well respected. He's very well liked on our team. He's got a very positive spirit around him. And he has fun when he plays, and you like that. I'm not going to compare the two kids because I don't like comparing kids, but yet in some ways I want to compare them because it's a compliment to both kids. But there's a Tony Kemp element to him, and there's a Javi Vaz element to Tony. They're very positive people. They play with a lot of bounce and enjoy the game. And anytime you get kids that love to play the game, they model those behaviors to 8, 9, and 10-year-olds, which there's a pile of those kids here right now that get to see those kids play, and that's really how you should play the game of baseball, with that sense of love.
Next, we'll go to Chris Harris.
Hey, Tim, you mentioned about being familiar, obviously, with Mississippi State, played them 3 times this year. I wonder if you can tell us since then, maybe what you have seen, and even up in this run in the College World Series, about what kind of has made them so dangerous and led them on this path.
Yeah, I don't think they've changed much. I think they're just a very consistent ball club. I mean, that's a seasoned team. They've got offensive players that have played a long time. I mean, Rowdy and Tanner are very, very good players. And I just mentioned those two because we played against them in 2018 in that super at Nashville. But, you know, you go through their lineup, they're like us. They've just got some really good players who compete really well. Their pitching staff is like ours. I mean, they've got quality starters. They've got quality arms out of the bullpen. They take care of the baseball. And they've been there. You know, like Vanderbilt, they've been there. They may have a few more pieces that have been playing on the field than Vanderbilt, but at the same time, they've been in the College World Series before. They've experienced. They know what it feels like, and they know how to operate. Very good team.
Our next question is from Kayla Anderson.
Hey, Coach, here again, and just your thoughts on an all-SEC College World Series final. I know exciting for the conference and probably exciting for you guys too.
It is exciting that way, and it's you know, as far as the SEC is concerned, we're very proud to be in the conference, but we don't stand here, beat ourselves on the chest, and say this is the best conference in the country. I mean, that what you do is what you do. We're very proud to be part of something that is celebrated for the kids and on a network and by how we play the game of baseball. But at the same time, it's joyous for both communities to be here together. We certainly respect Mississippi State a great deal. I enjoy their fan base. We have many friends from Mississippi State, and we'll stay that way. But we're just proud. We're proud to represent our bracket, number one. And I think if moving forward from the great teams that were here in our bracket and then to play here at the end, and so happens to be lined up against a very good opponent, we're grateful and fortunate.
We'll go to David White.
Hey, Coach. How does your starting pitching set up this week, and is Christian Little a factor in the rotation?
Starting pitching sets up fine, and everyone's a factor.
We're going to have time for 2 more questions. First will be from Steve Lehman.
Tim, you guys have played some significant games, even in the postseason, against Mississippi State in recent years. I know you've got a young team that a lot of them have only really played that series back a couple months ago. But is this developing into a pretty good rivalry, given all the stakes that you've played against them?
I mean, they're just a good opponent. What a rivalry is, I have no idea. I like the fact that we play very good baseball in a good conference, and the fact that we potentially could play them 5 times, 6 times, what have you, is fine. It's a good thing for our conference, but we enjoy playing good opponents, and Mississippi State is more than a good opponent. Tremendous competitors.
Final question for Coach today is from Chris Harris.
Tim, just to clarify, is Jack your guy tomorrow?
I have not clarified that, and I've never said that. We'll see how he feels today, and then we'll determine who's going to pitch. But we need time today. These kids have thrown as of late, and we just take care of the health of the kids first before we determine who's going to start.
Okay, Coach, thank you for your time.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, guys.
We will be followed shortly by Kumar Rocker. Again, please use the raise your hand function if you'd like to ask a question. Okay, joining us now is Kumar Rocker. We're going to go straight to questions, and the first one is from Chris Harris.
Hey, Kumar, what does it mean to you to get back here on this stage and the team to get back here on this stage?
I think it means a lot for everybody, and especially for my class. Those guys have waited 2 years to play in this spot, and those are my guys. I'm excited for them.
Our next question comes from Robbie Weinstein.
Hey, Kumar, not just you, but also Jack, obviously faced Mississippi State earlier in the season. What type of stuff do you learn and what can you take from that when you've already faced a team once and have a pretty good idea of their hitters and all that?
Mississippi State doesn't like to strike out very much.
Okay, next we'll go to Area Gerson.
How did you find out that, yesterday's game had been called off, and what was your reaction when you heard the news?
I heard the news in the hotel room, and I was upset about it. And that's pretty much it. I feel sorry for NC State.
Okay, next we'll go to Steve Lehman.
Kumar, you're really the one guy on this team that had a significant impact on the team that won the championship 2 years ago. Over the last 2 years, did you have doubts or confidence that you could be back in this position today?
I had a very open mind about it. You see the pieces in the fall, you see the spring, and the guys know where we're going to end up, and we're here right now.
Next question is from John Sokoloff.
Hey, Kumar. Last time against State, you threw a complete game. You only allowed one run. That's a really good lineup and a really good team that you beat earlier. I know you're probably a little bit of a different pitcher now, but what do you kind of remember from that outing, and what can you kind of take away from that in any time that you end up seeing in this series?
Mississippi State doesn't like to strike out a lot.
Okay, do we have any more questions for Kumar? Kumar, thank you for your time. We're going to be joined next by Dominic Keegan. Again, please use the raise your hand function if you'd like to ask a question. Our first question for Dominic is from Chris Lee.
Dominic, what do you remember about Mississippi State's pitching and what made them particularly difficult from the 3 games you played earlier?
They're competitors. All the guys throw pretty hard, and they got good breaking stuff. So.
Our next question is from Area Gerson.
Dominic, what's it as a member of the 2019 team, but who wasn't necessarily in the starting lineup? What is it like for you to be back here in Omaha as a starter, kind of leading your own team? Back into the College World Series finals?
It means great. I think a lot of guys in this program go through different roles in their time here. And I think I served a role my freshman year that's different than this year. But it feels the same to be on a team that, cares about what they do and goes out there and competes every day.
Our next question is from Kayla Anderson.
Hey, Dom, just your overall assessment of, the offensive production so far in the College World Series and how maybe to heat up those bats a little more going into this final against Mississippi State.
Just stop putting pressure on ourselves. We're here for a reason. We earned our spot here, and we got here because of our abilities and what we can do. So just not putting pressure on ourselves and, just having fun. When this group's having fun, I think we're at our best. So.
Next, we'll go to Robbie Weinstein.
Hey, Dom, if we're being honest, a lot of, fans, especially outside of Nashville, probably at this point will be rooting against you guys. And I know you're on social media and stuff like that. How do you, as a leader of the team, talk to your guys about how to compartmentalize that and ignore that and tune out the noise and stuff?
That's fine. We're not really worried about that. We're worried about ourselves and what we can do and, just compete.
Next, we'll go to Steve Lehman.
Dominic, you guys have played some really important series against Mississippi State over the last few years, both in the regular season and then seeing them in the postseason. Has this developed into a little bit more of a rivalry than just the typical SEC type weekend? And then to add into that, how important is game one tomorrow night to getting off to a good start?
I think we're just two teams that are very talented and like to compete. No one's going to give in to one another. So I don't know if I'd call it a rivalry, but I just call it two teams that are very talented and like to compete, like I said. Every game's important, so I wouldn't say game one is more important than game 2 or 3, You kind of just go out there and you compete every single day.
Next, we'll go back to Kayla Anderson.
Sorry, I left my hand up there. My apologies.
Okay, we will go to Chris Harris.
Hey, Dom, just curious how you guys spent the day yesterday processing everything that went on, and at what point did you kind of turn the page, and how did you do that?
We hung out with one another. We went and ate. Nothing really out of the ordinary. We kind of just hung out. But we took the news in. We heard it from Corbs. We met about it, and then we put it past us.
Have any more questions for Dominic? Dominic, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
That concludes our availability with Vanderbilt. Mississippi State will be in shortly with head coach Chris Lemonis, Tanner Allen, and Christian MacLeod. Okay, we are joined by Mississippi State head coach Chris Lemonis to open. Coach, we're going to ask for a brief opening statement again, and then we're going to open up the questions. Again, please use your raise your hand function and state your name and affiliation when asking a question. With that being said, Coach, whenever you're ready.
Man, still coming off of last night. Great win. Man, our guys have fought since the day we got here. Man, we haven't had an easy game yet. It's been very tight, tough ball games. But, man, they keep finding a way to persevere. So we're excited to be here. It's an opportunity of a lifetime. It's been earned by our guys, and I look forward to seeing them play on this stage.
Okay, our first question is from Steve Robertson.
Steve Robertson with genespage.com. Chris, I know you're still coming down, but pitching plans for the series.
We're putting the names in a hat, and we're just going to draw them out one at a time, see what happens. No, we're going to go. Christian MacLeod's rested and fresh, so he's going to go game one, and then we'll be TBA from there. We're going to have to assess some guys and see where they're at. But, man, we have one of our top pitchers. He's ready to go on Monday night.
The next question is from John Sokoloff.
Chris, John Sokoloff with WCBI in Columbus. I mean, what have these last 12 hours kind of been like for you? How has that gone? And also, is your dad coming up to Omaha for the championship series?
Well, yeah, it's been kind of crazy the last, trying to get the guys focused and rested. The night before we had the game where we got in at 2, probably fell asleep at 3, played last night. So lots about us getting rested, and I know they were excited. Our fan base is excited. Everything was awesome there. And no, my dad can't make it. My dad's actually in the hospital right now, and so my sister's there with him. They're watching every game. He's fired up, but it's unfortunate he can't make it out. But he's watching every game, I know, and watching every pitch.
Next question is from Nick Suss.
Nick Suss with the Clarion Ledger. Chris, do you like having this day off for rest, or do you kind of just want to get back on the field after a big win like last night?
No, we like the day off for rest. We need to emotionally come down, and we need a little rest for our pitchers, and we need a little rest for our bodies. We're about to go out to a practice, but it'll be a pretty light practice. We've, jumping in there and having to play 2 really competitive games the last 2 nights, and the one went so long. Our kids need a little day to decompress.
Our next question is from David Murray.
Coach, at this point of the season, you talk about teams being ready, players being ready. How much of it is coaching, and how much, when you get this deep into a season, does it just come down to the players doing it themselves?
That's been our message. Our message from the first game of the regionals was it's a players' game, and players win right now. Coaches don't win. If we make great pitches or we get big hits or we get whatever, you just have to be ready for your time comes, and that's what our guys have been able to do. Coaching's very little right now besides us cheering them on and keeping them invested, but it's about the players. And the players will win. There'll be players that play great and win this thing, and that's what it all comes down to right now. Usually that's what comes down to all year long. Coaches are just, we're here for the ride.
Next we'll go to Drake Keeler.
Hi, Drake Keeler, Omaha World Herald. Can you talk a little bit about the decision to no longer go through the main lobby of the hotel? Was that mostly a decision made in response to, seeing NC State actually get knocked out by COVID?
Yes. I mean, we're just – and it's really hard for us because we have an unbelievable fan base. And we, for the last couple of days, man, we haven't signed autographs. We haven't – shaking hands. We're trying to be as protective as we can. And so, the first couple nights we came to our lobby, there's thousands of people. It's the best part about winning a game out here. And unfortunately, last night we just kind of went around the back, and just so we couldn't, it's less contact. And unfortunately, it's the time that we're in, and we're trying to be as smart as we can to give us the opportunity to compete on the field.
Our next question is from Rick Cleveland.
Yeah, Chris, there's so much history with Mississippi State football and Mississippi State baseball and so many trips here to the College World Series and frankly, a lot of heartbreak. Is this sort of a responsibility you feel, or do y'all talk about this much?
Not really. I think our kids understand it.
it's hard enough to have the burden of our own team instead of the burden of a lot of other teams who've been here. So, man, we're just locking in. Game 1, Vanderbilt. We've had to do it. 2018, some of my kids had to go to Vanderbilt to get here. We just had great games with them over the years. We can't, you can't go back and take it. We know our whole university and our whole state's behind us. And, man, we just want to play good and represent our fan base. But the reality is, these poor kids, Tanner Allen, I don't think, was born when, some of these that we lost or whatever. So they're here. They're making their own mark on history is our goal.
Next, we'll go to Steve Lehman.
Hi, Chris. You guys were on the opposite side of the bracket of NC State, but obviously you're there in Omaha and you realize what's going on. And I even talked with a Mississippi State fan last night that said they feared whoever wins is going to have sort of the asterisk of what happened in this College World Series. How do you block that out and just focus on what you've been dreaming of doing forever with this team?
Yeah, I don't see that. I see us having to play the way that we came through it and the games that we've had to play, and now you're having to play Vanderbilt. There'll be no asterisk for us. It'll be, and I hate it for NC State. I have 3 coaches who work for Elliott Avant on my staff. I have a long relationship with Elliott. I have my nieces and nephews all went to NC State. So I have a lot of respect there, and, man, it sucks what happened. But for our guys, that stuff's out of our control. All we can do is show up and play, and whoever's in the other dugout we compete against. And, like I said, it's unfortunate, but it's the time that we're in, and we're just ready to play and get after Vanderbilt. Actually, it probably makes our job a little harder, what happened, not easier coming out of our bracket.
Okay, next we'll go back to John Sokoloff.
Chris, I talked to Scott Foxhall the other day about Christian, and he was very as confident as you are in him, just getting back to the way that he was and talking about locating that fastball better. What have you kind of seen from him these last couple of days that's kind of looked promising heading into his start on Monday?
Well, I know he had a good bullpen. We cranked him up. We weren't sure on, I guess it was Friday night. We were possibly going to use him out of the pen, and he was available to come out of the pen last night. Luckily, we didn't have to crank him up. So the most positive thing, he threw 40-something pitches. He's fully rested. He pitched really good against Vanderbilt early in the year, at least for 3 or 4 innings. He was really good. So he's a good matchup for us, and man, we're behind him. So we need him to go out there and pitch and compete for us.
Next, Steve Robertson.
Yeah, Steve Robertson, genespage.com. Chris, obviously you guys know Vanderbilt really well. What have you seen from them in the College World Series, and what are your more recent impressions of them?
They just, they've been here. They know how to win. They've come back twice. They just, and it's when they have their big guys out there, the Lighters or the Rockers or they're a very formidable opponent. And they just know how to play the game, and they're very well coached, and it'll be a tough matchup. It'll be, who gets the big hit or who makes the big play, because they're really good.
Next question, we'll go back to Nick Suss.
Chris, how do you evaluate somebody like Will Bednar over the next couple of days? Obviously, he's a competitor who's going to say he's going to want to pitch. How do you and your staff kind of go about recognizing when he would be ready?
It's just a communication piece. I spoke to Will already, and it comes from him. And like you said, he's so competitive. Who knows what he says, but he's got a long career after this too. So we're very sensitive to that too. We've done a great job, I feel like, of taking care of him all year. He hasn't overpitched all year. Probably his numbers are lower than most starting pitchers that are here in Omaha, and he's been on a strict pitch count, most of the year. I think he's gone over 100 maybe once or twice, so it's not a situation where he's been overused, but it'll come down to some conversations between all of us and as we move through this.
Our next question is from Chris Harris.
Hey, Chris, from WSMV here in Nashville. A couple of minutes ago, when Kumar Rocker was asked about Mississippi State hitters, all he would say was they don't like to strike out a lot, and that's it. Can you maybe describe your guys' approaches at the plate that has led you to be effective offensively and not swing and miss a lot?
Well, we have a great hitting coach in Jake Gautreaux. And a lot of his is, we give back that last strike for our team. And you can see our guys, they pump their chest. And we work on it every day. And we feel like we're kind of a grinded-out offense. And not that we can't hit home runs, not that we can't do other things, but one of our goals is to grind it out and make you throw pitches and make you work. And I think that comes from our hitting coach. It's been here since he's been here, and he does a tremendous job with our hitters, and our hitters are bought in. It's not always easy to buy into that, but our hitters have bought in because they've seen the success from year to year, and hopefully that makes a difference in this series. It does in a lot of our games.
Okay, Coach, seeing no more questions, thank you for your time.
Thank you, guys. Hail State.
We're going to be joined next by Tanner Allen. Again, please, when asking a question, state your name and affiliation. And again, use the raise hand feature to get in line to ask a question. Okay. Our first question for Tanner today is from Steve Robertson.
TA, Steve Robertson with genespage.com. You guys have walked it off now 5 times this year. Does it make it easier to kind of come down out of the clouds a little bit from last night because you guys have done it, you personally have done it, or because of the stage, is it maybe a little more difficult? How would you kind of describe it?
It's just we don't ever stop fighting. We always play 9 outs or play all 9 innings. But how about the swing by Leggett, man? That's unbelievable. He hadn't played that much lately. Really just playing his role. And all the young kids out there, man, when you play your role and you're a big-time team player, the game rewards you. And can't be more happy for him.
Okay, our next question, we're going to go to John Sokoloff.
TA, I feel like a John Sokoloff with WCBI in Columbus. I mean, it feels like a broken record here with you. You've been here a million times, but now this is even new territory for you. The championship series, just 2 wins away from the program's first national title. How do you kind of prepare for, a stage like this? And what's kind of your message to the rest of the guys as well?
We're just going to control what we can control, and that's preparation. We're going to have a great practice today. Then we're going to go home and get off our feet and lay up and relax.
Our next question is from Nick Suss.
Tanner, I think you've played Vanderbilt, 11 or 12 times in the last 4 years in Supers in the regular season and the College World Series. Does it kind of feel like this is the team it would have to be to get this title?
Oh, of course. This is not going to be easy. We knew this coming to Omaha, this is not going to be easy, but we know that we're supposed to be here. Vanderbilt's an unbelievable team. They have unbelievable talent. They got really good arms. They can really swing it. So we're going to have our hands full. But like I said, we didn't expect this to be a cakewalk. So we're ready for it, though.
We're going to go back to Steve Robertson.
Steve Robertson, genespage.com. TA, after the Arkansas sweep, you made a comment about not getting too high and too low, and you referenced that 2018 College World Series where you guys had swept Arkansas in a regular series, and you look up and they're playing for a national championship. History is kind of repeated, and I see you grinning there because you know where I'm going with this, but how did you get guys to kind of buy into that, hey, the season's not over and we still got a lot left to play for?
Well, like you said, man, I've been here a while. I've been on some really great teams here at Mississippi State. My freshman year, we didn't have the greatest start to the year, and I think we had a really great team, and I think we had a really good brothership on the team. So they kind of knew that I'd been there, and I was just telling our guys, man, like I said, you can't get too high and you can't get too low in this game. And they believed it, and we flushed that series, and, we turned around and get beat by Missouri at home. That was a big loss, and we could easily packed it in right there. But we knew we were playing for something bigger. And we came together as a team, went to the SEC tournament, and got beat there twice too. Really didn't care. We knew we were playing for something bigger. So we're exactly where we're meant to be right now. And I feel like we're ready for it, and we're going to embrace every moment because at the end of the day, there's nothing like ending your career or your season in Omaha.
Okay, our next question is from Rick Cleveland.
Rick Cleveland, Mississippi Today. Tanner, y'all, you had some success with Leiter in Nashville. could you describe him as a pitcher and basically what you'll be facing?
We'll probably be facing the best arm in the country. He's an unbelievable talent, man. He's a great guy. He can really compete. So we got our hands full. Like I said, we knew this wasn't going to be easy. So we're just going to prepare today, have a good practice, good BP, and then really have a good scout report tomorrow morning and just go into the game with confidence because we've been playing great baseball lately.
We'll go to David Murray.
David Murray, Gene's Page 24/7. Tanner, how, as a veteran player, do you approach Christian and say, you've been a pitcher for us all year, you can get this done, just go out and be yourself against Vanderbilt?
Oh, of course, man. He's been there. He didn't have the greatest start, his last start up here, but that's in his past. Like I said, you can't live in the past. If you live on what you did in the past, you'll never get anything done in the future. So I have full confidence in him. I'm glad we got Christian going. I feel like God is going to work his hands through him. And you know what? Monday night, seeing 2-8 run out there on the mound, man, I have a good feeling. And I have full confidence in him. I can't wait to watch him pitch.
Okay, seeing no more questions. Tanner, thank you for your time.
Yes, sir. Hill State.
We're going to finish today's press conference availability with Christian MacLeod. Again, please state your name and affiliation when asking a question and use the raise hand option on your screen to ask the question. Okay, Christian, welcome. Our first question is going to be from Steve Robertson.
Christian, Steve Robertson from genespage.com. A lot of water under the bridge for you since this thing started, but you're going to be starting game one at a College World Series final. Has that sunk in yet, and what are your thoughts about getting the opener?
Yeah, that's awesome. But I'm kind of going into it as it's just another start. You can't make the moment bigger than what it is. Obviously we're really excited to be playing for a national championship, playing a quality opponent with Vanderbilt. But, we just got to stay calm, cool, and collected and, do what we've done all season, playing together, playing for each other.
Next, we're going to go to Robbie Falk.
Hey, Christian, Robbie Falk from Starkville Daily News and 247 Sports. You were so good at Vanderbilt that first time through the order. I think you had 7 strikeouts and just kind of rolled through them. And I know things kind of unraveled for you later on in the game, but what did you take away from that ball game and what you were able to do against that lineup?
Yeah, I thought I went into that start. I had some pretty good stuff. Changeup was working well. I was commanding the ball early on in the game, and I think it was in that 4th inning kind of, lost feel for my changeup a little bit and left some pitches up, and, they made me pay for it. It's a really good lineup over there, so, it's definitely something you got to have is command and have all 3 pitches going.
Our next question is from John Sokoloff.
Hey, Christian. John Sokoloff with WCBI down in Columbus. Your last couple of starts obviously didn't go the way that you wanted, but, talking with Coach Lemonis, talking with Scott Foxhall, they're both incredibly confident in you. Fox even told me that it's literally just about just locating that fastball a little better, and then, you'll be the Christian MacLeod that everyone knows that you're capable of being. How have the last couple of days gone preparation-wise, and how confident are you that you'll be able to kind of get back to that mid to early season form?
Yeah, it's been good. The past few days have been good. I've been thrown in the bullpen a little bit. They had me down there and almost came in against Texas and everything. But, I've been feeling good, been working on the fastball command and everything. And, everything's feeling good. Arm feels great. I'm ready to go.
Our next question is from Nick Suss.
Hey, Christian, Nick Suss with the Clarion Ledger. You talk about almost coming in against Texas. Mentally, how did you juggle that, knowing that you could be the game 1 starter or you could be pitching in an elimination game? Just kind of how did you process all of that and prepare for what's coming next?
Yeah, one thing we've said all year is taking it one game at a time. And, I'm willing to do anything for this team. So when they told me to go down to the bullpen, start getting loose and everything, I just went into it as, it's just like a start. It's a regular inning, don't make the situation bigger than it is. Don't, change your routine or anything, just go about it. Make sure you have all 3 pitches working and then go with it.
Next, we'll go to David Murray.
David Murray, genespage.com. Christian, when you get on the stage, you talk about not making the moment bigger than it is. obviously a national championship series, that's a pretty big moment, but how do you take it back and just say, there's a guy, here's the mound, there's the bat, I've just got to pitch?
Yeah, exactly. That's something that we've said together is, we've worked so hard starting from the time that we got here this fall, and we've worked together. We've had good practices. We've worked hard in the weight room and everything. And I think we really just think back to those times where we were grinding and the team chemistry and just taking everything to account that what we've done this year. And when it comes down and they say play ball, we're going to go in there and do what we've been doing.
Next question is from Robbie Falk.
Christian, y'all have had so much expectations for this pitching staff and so much talent, but people might forget that the third starter has been kind of undefined at times this year. You've had some guys rotating there. You've had some undefined roles in the bullpen outside of Landon Sims, and you guys have pieced it together a lot of the season. How much of a grind has this been for this pitching staff to get to this point and have an opportunity to win a national championship?
It's been huge. We've had a lot of guys step up and throw some really big innings for us. And, this staff is really talented and, everybody works really, really hard. And I'm super proud of every single guy. Everybody shows up every day and, works with Coach Foxhall, works with each other, and everybody motivates each other. And, it's one guy after another stepping up and, making that pitch for us, coming in, getting that inning, getting a guy out. Everybody steps up and does their job and everything, and that's been a huge part of our success this year.
Okay, we have time for two more questions. The first one from Steve Robertson.
Christian, obviously, Steve Roberts from genespage.com. Things didn't go as well as you wanted last time. So how eager are you to get back on the mound, and what will you kind of do to mentally prepare here in the next few hours?
Yeah, definitely ready to get out there and bounce back. Obviously I wasn't happy with how I pitched against Virginia. I didn't have my best command and everything, but, I think this is a great opportunity to bounce back, and I'm thankful for another opportunity to go out there and pitch, especially for a national championship. I mean, it means the world to me. It means the world to be a part of this team. So, I'm looking forward to going back out there and competing.
And our final question today is from Nick Suss.
Christian, I know you don't pitch against the other pitcher, but does it factor into your preparation at all when somebody like Jack Leiter is going to be on the bump for the other team?
Yeah, not really. That's not really in my control who they're throwing. I think our hitters are going to go about it and prepare and everything, but, all I can do is have my good routine, get mentally prepared and everything, and, have my good routine and try and pitch the best of my ability out there. Give my team the best ability to win.
All right, Christian, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Hail State.
Thank you for everyone today for participating. You can find a recording of this press conference in the NCAA digital media hub at ncaa.veritone.com. Transcripts will also be available at www.ncaa.com/transcripts. Thank you.